The affair partner's wife sent my wife a long text in which she called her everything but a child of God. I have not communicated with my wife since. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to be going over part 3, or an update to the story. On Christmas, Grandpa goes scorched earth after discovering wife of 4 decades is cheating with her doctor. And guys, quick review on that. That's about the guy. He is in his late 60s, it sounds like. For almost 4 decades of being married to his wife. And lo and behold, before Christmas, finds out that she was away on some kind of teacher's conference, was in Vegas, hooking up with her doctor. And I forget exactly how he found this out, but the point is he found out, consulted his lawyer and all that, and planned to go scorched earth on her and the doctor after Christmas. He got everything lined up, played it cool during Christmas and the holidays with the kids and the grandkids and all that. Day after Christmas, he struck hard. And of course, she's bawling her eyes out and all that bullshit and everything like that. And he also made the ex-wife, the wife of the guy, the doctor, aware of what was going on, and also is going to be impacting his job because, well, he was her doctor, and that goes under obviously some major professional issues there. And it went on to him finding out how he's going to move on. Obviously, he's up in the air about divorcing her and all that because he's been married to her for 4 decades. It's a tough situation, but he's definitely keeping his distance from her. And it ended in part 2, where he was then going to go off for a while, see some family, which I thought was a great idea. Get the hell away, clear your head and all that. But he's going through a really hard time, and it's terrible any guys to go through this shit, let alone a dude in his 60s, because he's been with her for 40 years. And it was the same bullshit song and dance excuses that she gave. So we're going to pick up where things left off and see how he's doing. So it says here, afterwards, when I called my sister-in-law, his brother's sister, I told her I'd be coming alone to see my niece and her new baby. She asked me why my wife was not coming, and I just said there's some issues I will tell you about when I get there. I got here around midnight, and she had just took out a hot pound cake out of the oven. It was the best thing I've eaten in weeks. Sounds good to me. Give me some chocolate cake and that'll clear up all problems. I gave her all the details of my saga. I teared up a few times, but as I went through all with her, I broke down and wept. She was very supportive and wept with me. She stroked my bursted ego, and I guess I felt better after we talked. I went upstairs to bed around 3 o'clock yesterday morning. Hey, you got to get it out. Ideally, I wouldn't cry in front of a woman ever, even if it isn't someone you're involved with, but you had to get it out. That helps him heal, so be it. Yesterday morning, she cooked me bacon and eggs for breakfast, and as I ate, she told me that I may make the rules and run the show back home, but not at her house. She then proceeded to tell me my schedule. Sounds like a sister-in-law. Number 1, at 1 o'clock, I had a haircut appointment. I needed a haircut when this all happened, and it was overdue, so I agreed. Number 2, after the haircut, we were going to Dillard's and buy some clothes that fit me. I lost over 30 pounds in 3 weeks. Holy shit, this goes to show you obviously how depressed the guy was when he's going through. A lot of guys, when something horrible happens, they either gain a ton of weight because they drink and eat garbage, or they just don't eat and they lose a ton of weight. See, his sister-in-law, although she's laying down the law, she's taking care of him because she could see he's breaking down. She's like, that's it, we're fixing things right now. Sounds like this is what he needs. Number 3, I was going to go with her to a friend's house that was having a bonfire and fireworks for a little while last night. Number 4, I was to go with her to church today, and she was going to go visit her parents this afternoon. Number 5, she's cooking supper tonight, and her daughter and son-in-law are coming to eat and visit. Number 6, her son-in-law is taking me deer hunting tomorrow with his dogs on an 8,000-acre timber company lease that he's a part of. He is off all week, and if I want to stay, I can hunt all week if I want to. And she'll wash my clothes and feed me. I've never done it, so I don't know what to expect. And number 7, we're not going to talk about my problems again until I leave to go home. In other words, this is kind of like camp for him, if you will, to kind of get things back on track. And obviously this guy needs it, you know? And actually, I'm wondering here, I think his brother's deceased. And this is, however, his wife, and obviously that side of the family. So it's good that she's taking care of him. He says, so hell, I did what I was told to do. She went with me to her regular salon. On the way there, she said, I'm going to use you to have some fun. When I introduce you, I'm going to give them your first and middle name. I asked her what the hell, and she just laughed and just said, play along. I'm going to give these bitches something to talk about. My middle name is my mother's maiden name, and that's how she introduced me to her hairstylist. I see where she's going. Nobody gossips more than gals at the salon. During my haircut, she asked me where I was from, and I told her Detroit. There is no way my accent would allow me to be from Detroit. My sister-in-law never missed a beat and said he's a logger. Yeah, well, I live north of Boston, and I don't at all have the Boston accents because I moved here in 2010. People move around, guys. Next up, Dillard's. I have not been shopping for anything in years. I wound up buying 3 new pairs of pants, 4 shirts, 2 pairs of shoes, a tie. Can you believe $75 for a tie? And a Hart Schaefer Mark suit. According to her, it's the only suit that my brother would wear. I did not know he was so peculiar about his clothes. I also bought a new belt. The suit had to be hemmed, and she convinced them to do while we waited. On the way home, she told me I was going to be her date for the party in church. So I was. She took me to look at her. She told me to look at her like I looked at a new gun, so they would buy it. I went along with her, except at the party I was from Atlanta, and I sold road graders and have been married and divorced 4 times. In other words, making up a new story everywhere they go just for fun. What I tell you about women loving drama, even if they're old, 60s, 70s, still right here. He's making up a different story every time he's around different people for her, just for some kicks and for some fun. In other words, a little drama. Not nasty drama, but a little drama. At church this morning, we got there late and left early because she doesn't want to be struck by lightning for lying in church. She's struck by lightning for lying in church. She sat right up under me and held my hand when we walked out. I've had a good time looking like Dumb and Dumber with my 46-year-old sister-in-law. She has cut up the whole time, and I have genuinely laughed. I've not done that for 3 weeks. I'm going to go hunting tomorrow and may stay until Wednesday, but I have to be at work on Friday. Well, you know what? This is what he needs. This is not what he expected when he left the house to go away, but hey, if it's helping him move on, take his mind off things, fine, so be it. And 46. I thought she was older. I've talked to my son a couple of times. He thinks they need to try and get some medical help. She evidently is not saying much and stays in her bedroom at my daughter's house most of the time. Her phone is dead, and he and my other daughter communicates with her through my youngest. So his soon-to-be ex-wife, at least I hope soon-to-be ex-wife, isn't doing too well. Imagine that. Once she's caught, now all of a sudden now she's not doing so well. What happened to her doctor friend? Why can't she go off with him? The affair partner's wife sent her a long text in which she called her everything but a child of God. I've not communicated with my wife. She asked where I was, and I told my daughter that I would never be able to forgive her, and she didn't blame me for not forgiving. My son said she looks like death. Yeah, I bet that the soon-to-be ex-wife of the doctor's wife had plenty to say to her, and she deserved it, because she knowingly was hooking up with a married man, and this doctor knew darn well that he was hooking up with a married woman, and didn't give a shit. Now there are consequences. Says, I see no path to reconciliation. However, I'm not going to file for divorce until I'm completely sure. Some have said divorce and reconcile if I change my mind. That seems like a waste of time, energy, and money. When I decide to divorce, it will be final. I'm not going to go sue the AP if I don't divorce. If I do divorce, I will sue him to defray what the divorce settlement will be. Otherwise, I don't want his money. I've come to terms with the fact that this is not going to end soon and that my life will never be the same. I started keeping a journal today. I realized it helps the order of my thoughts by writing them down. Thanks again for your encouragement. It has helped me. Well, I think that's cool that this guy's doing a journal. One, for therapy reasons. It'll help him to write things down and get it out. And also, yeah, he can keep a record of everything. That way, if he's confused, there's so much shit going on, he can look back to the journal, find out about what happened, exact details, who said what, etc., etc. That will help him because his mind's all over the place. But I'm glad he got out. That's what guys need to do. They need to get out, get away from things, think, have distractions. And yeah, it's good he got a haircut, some new clothes and all that because he's been really going through a hard time. And you know my opinion about the whole subject, just I can't imagine going back and being with someone after all that. And in my opinion, she's only sorry because she got caught. And she can go off with the doctor, and he can take care of her and be her support network financially as well as emotionally, because done. But we shall see what this guy does. But right now, he's on a journey of starting over. And I wish this guy all the best. And I'm glad to hear that his kids are on his side. But he handled this situation like a boss. Remember, he handled it like an old school way, because he bottled this stuff up inside for a while so the kids and grandkids could have a good Christmas and all that, not ruin things. But afterwards, kaboom. Now, a few comments here before I wrap this up. One guy says, you should be happy in this update. Oh, you sound happy in this update. I'm happy for you and glad you have a wonderful sister-in-law. When you said you haven't went shopping for new clothes in years, that was sad to hear. Didn't your wife ever notice you needed new clothes, or did you guys ever go shopping together? It feels like your sister-in-law noticed more in a few days than your wife in years. I wish you the best. Well, probably he needs new clothes because he lost 30 pounds, although he'll probably gain a bunch of that back once he starts eating again. That was probably one part, and the other part, maybe not. Probably his soon-to-be ex was more preoccupied with her and what she was doing than him. Sad. Now the guy says here, I don't think this is her first time cheating. A person that's been married for 38 years doesn't start having an affair because someone tells them they're the most beautiful person in the room. I think your mother saw what was happening 20 years ago when she said she's going to be showing those titties to another man. Ooh. Now the guy says here, I know you said you haven't decided on divorce, but in my opinion, you should. Had you not found out when you did, you would have been entering the new year still with her while she continues to lie, only looking out for herself. Not divorcing her is her getting off scot-free, and she doesn't deserve that. That wasn't a one-time mistake, since she was willing to throw the marriage and all those years away. You should show her how it's really done. Hope you find peace. The odds are very much that this is not her first rodeo in the cheating department. Usually people that do that have a habit of doing so. They don't just pick it up way later in life. I hope not for his sake, but the odds are probably not. But good luck trying to get her to admit that. And one more guy says, OP, I journalized everything that happened from when I first started suspecting that until the divorce had been finalized. At first, I did it to prove myself I wasn't going crazy because I suspected her of cheating. Then just so I could document so I could keep the different divorce days straight. It really wasn't interesting reading about a year after the divorce was finalized. You are right. The journaling helped me keep things straight and allowed me to get back and double-check different things that she and her friends had told me. You will laugh when you reread it much later, such as what your sister-in-law did and said and how people stood for you. In my case, I laughed at the time I secretly forced my ex into taking a polygraph test, which she failed. Keep your head up high and know you are on the right track. Keep your family close. There you go. This guy has nothing but support in the comment section. That's great, because a lot of times when people post their stories, you get some of the most craziest motherfuckers out there saying just some of the most bizarre and often nasty things to guys that did nothing wrong, but still, you know, they're treated in such a way that you guys all know what I'm talking about. But this guy's gotten a lot of support, which is really good. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think. I don't know if he's ever going to see this, but I wish him the best and wish him well. All I can say is for him and anybody else in a situation like this, you got to take it day by day. Keep your friends close, your families close, and you'll get through it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.